Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Travis.
Well, the Packers and Bears, it was a game that we were really excited for. These are our two favorite teams clashing here, best rivalry in football, like we've been saying. And unfortunately, it turned out to be quite a stinker here as the Packers ended up pulling away from the Bears, pretty much blowing them out 35 to 14. Um, Travis, as the winning team here, what are your thoughts after this game?
Man, this was a great game all around for the Packers. They had the lead early on. They never let it go. And, they scored their touchdown a minute later. Glennon's first drop back, strip sack. They get the ball on the 4, and it's 14-0, just like that. For a team going into Lambeau, that's definitely not how you want the game to start. But some of the takeaways that we got away from this game is, for me, number one, it's Mitch Trubisky's time to shine now. Mike Glennon looked absolutely terrible on Thursday night. He accounted for 4 turnovers, and he just doesn't look like he's a good fit in this offense. They expected him to take care of the ball, not turn it over. And he's done that at a high rate. He's got the mobility of a snail. He can't move around in the pocket. So I think, you bring in a fresh, new, young guy who's going to be able to help, move around in the pocket. He's got more mobility and just looks like a better fit.
Yeah, it's about time, and it's officially announced now that we're recording here on Monday that Mitch Trubisky is going to be starting next Monday night against the Minnesota Vikings. So it's really exciting to see. Last quarterback to have his first start on Monday night was Aaron Rodgers, by the way, who ended up getting a victory in that game. So maybe history can repeat itself this time. But just sticking the Bears Packers here with Mike Glennon here, yeah, I mean, it's been evident through the first 4 games of the season that he's just not the right guy for the job here, and they paid him a 3-year, $45 million contract to be their starting quarterback, at least for this season. Obviously, they must have known that this might have been the case where he would have his struggles. That's why they only made it basically a 1-year deal when you look at the guaranteed money. But it's disappointing to see that, if Mike Glenn would have come in and played very well for this Bears team, that would have helped out the franchise in so many ways because it could have allowed them to sit Trubisky for this year and truly learn the game. And then maybe Mike Glenn has trade value after the season. And now you're looking at where you're basically eating $18 million for him to basically sit on the bench for this season. It's not as bad as many other big signing quarterback deals. I mean, Brock Osweiler last year was a pretty awful one. I mean, they had to give up draft picks in order to get rid of him and that terrible contract. So I won't go say it's that bad, but it was a pretty bad contract to give out. And, 8 turnovers in the first 4 games. That was something that Mike Glennon was brought in. When he was brought in here, he was supposed to not turn the ball over. That was his one job, basically, is manage the game, don't turn the ball over, and you'll pretty much have your job be safe for you. And he did the exact opposite of that.
This has to be the worst contract in free agency this year. I mean, they basically are going to be paying this man $18 million to play 4 football games. That's really bad. I didn't like the signing when they made it. I think this is still just a really bad move by the Bears, and it totally blew up in their face. And the turnovers really killed him, lost him his job. And I think Trubisky's mobility is going to help this Bears offense a lot. He looks like a better fit. But moving on, the second takeaway is that, speaking about turnovers, it just ended up killing the Bears. That turnover early on had them down 14-0 early, and it really just set the tone for the game and didn't really give them a chance.
Yeah, I mean, 4 turnovers, all of them, on the stat sheet were given to Mike Glennon. I thought one of them where they had the weird snap exchange there with Cody Whitehair snapping it too early with Mike Glennon. I'm not sure whose fault was that, but, in the stat sheet they put it as a fumble for Mike Glennon. But, I mean, just all of them were really just terrible turnovers. Every single time it looked like the Bears were starting to claw their way back into the game where maybe you thought like maybe they had a chance to like make it close later in the game. You just killed him with, he had 2 very bad overthrows over the middle of the field that went right to the stage. I mean, the Packers safeties didn't have to do anything except just stand there and wait for him to throw it to him. And then on his, talk about that strip sack at the beginning of the game, he held on to the ball for like 4 or 5 seconds there. I don't think the protection was necessarily that bad. Mike Glennon was just holding on to the ball, and he was too afraid to kind of make a throw down the field or just check it down. I don't know what the case is there. Like you said earlier in the show, he has the mobility of a snail. So
yeah.
doesn't really hurt you in the pocket there. And, we're going to just going back to Trubisky here. Trubisky's going to help with that for the Bears going forward. But in terms of this game, it showed that it was a really, bad sign for them that Mike Glennon, in the first play of the game for the offense, they went play action trying to think that, they could get the Packers thinking that they could get a big shot because, the Bears are going to run the ball. Just didn't work out for them, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of the game there.
Yeah, and I like the point you made that the turnovers, I want to point out, were just really big momentum killers. A lot of Green Bay's drives, they had short fields to work on, and they were able to capitalize on short fields, and they got a lot of points off turnovers. So that really killed them the entire game. But moving on to our next takeaway, and this was one of the bigger surprises for me, is Jordan Howard, he really struggled to run the ball against the Packers. That's which defensive front wasn't really fully healthy. You got Mike Daniels, arguably their best defensive player. He was inactive. And the Bears have just had a tendency to, everyone knows they're going to run it, and they're going to run it with success, even if you know it's coming. But he really struggled. And, watching this game, the Packers, they were just able to load up the box. They had 9, even 10 guys in the box. There's really no running lanes for Jordan Howard. And they really, made the Bears try to beat them through the air. And that's something the Bears team with this weak wide receiver corps just cannot do.
Yeah, if you're watching, film of the game, they were bringing not just one safety down to the box. They were bringing both safeties into the box. And even on the passing plays, most of their coverage units were like right there on the line of scrimmage, pretty much there in the Bears and beating them over the top. And they couldn't do it because, like you said, the wide receivers, they're just not that good for the Bears. They've had some injuries in that wide receiving corps. It's really hampered them this season. And two, Mike Glennon's just not capable or just unwilling to make throws, past 10 yards down the field. So it really limited the running game. Going forward, Trubisky, I'm not really concerned about that for the Bears. They've proven that they can get the running game going, even with 9, 10 guys in the box. It was just one of those games where the Packers just had a really good game plan to stop the run. They really committed to stopping the run in this one. And I'm not too worried about it going forward. But in terms of this game, if the Bears can't run the ball, it just kind of shows, what their offense really has to deal with here. If they can't run the ball, they get pretty much zero from their quarterback play so far. We'll see with Trubisky going forward. But in terms of what they did with Mike Glennon, it was pretty obvious that you take away the running game, you really expose Mike Glennon for what he is.
Yeah, most of their passing plays are Tariq Cohen or Jordan Howard. But I think of Mitch Trubisky coming in, he'll improve the passing game, which will also improve the running game, give them a few more holes. But moving on to our next takeaway, and this for me is that the Packers' offense looked really strong versus a really good Bears defense that's very underrated. Now, I know a lot of the night their Packers defense set them up with easy opportunities, but they were able to capitalize and score touchdowns, not field goals, which is a really big difference, is getting in the red zone, getting 7 instead of 3.
Well, look, you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, and if you consistently give him short field situations and you're constantly giving the ball or the defense for the Bears could get tired, you're going to have some bad situations where the Packers can capitalize on that. And Aaron Rodgers is the best in the league up there with Tom Brady in terms of capitalizing off of other teams' mistakes. That's just something the Bears could not do with the turnovers in this game and all the 3-and-outs. They could not give the ball to Aaron Rodgers for so much time because, like I said, this Bear defense is very underrated. And while I don't feel like they played a great game necessarily, they didn't play a bad game. The scoreboard didn't reflect to me the performance of this Bears defense. I thought they played, pretty solid in this one. It's just that they got nothing from their offense. But for the Packers' perspective, yeah, you want to see them convert those opportunities because, their offense has had a little bit of a slow start this season out of the get-go. And, get a good confidence builder like that will be good for them going forward.
Yeah, talking about slow starts, Ty Montgomery, he's definitely kind of had a slow start, but he looked really good early on in this game. He had 5 carries for 28 yards, and then he ended up getting a rib injury. They say maybe broken ribs, and that was really disappointing to see because they were running right at the Bears early, setting the pace, and he did a fantastic job to see him get on track and then get injured. That sucks. But his backup, Aaron Jones, he came in, he ran the rock 13 times for 49 yards and a touchdown. So that's pretty good coming from a rookie. They're able to still kind of have balance in their offense. One thing is Martellus Bennett, he's really struggled to find a role in this offense. They've kind of used him more as a blocker than a receiving threat because their offensive tackles have been hurt. And I kind of want to see, how they're going to use him as more down the field instead of these intermediate check down throws he's been getting.
Yeah, well, like you said, their tackles need to get healthy in order for them to actually expose Martellus Bennett as a downfield vertical threat at the tight end position. So in that sense, it kind of makes sense for them to use Martellus Bennett as more of a blocker and an extra pass protector, the guy to help with the pass rush so Aaron Rodgers has more time. And they got plenty of wide receiving help to get open there for Aaron Rodgers. So that's not a concern for me for the Packers going forward. They'll figure something out, I think. With the running game, it's really impressive because the strength of this Bears defense is their front seven, and they've done a really good job so far this season shutting down opposing teams' running games. And when you look at, they did a really good job against Atlanta with their two-headed monster, Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. They also shut down Le'Veon Bell for the majority of that Pittsburgh game. And, Tampa Bay didn't really do that much on the ground against them either. So for the Packers to be very efficient and really take it to the Bears early on in the game, because it wasn't just, by the end of the game, they started to get the ball going once they were on the field for a long time. No. I mean, the Packers really took it to the Bears front seven early on that first drive and really set the tone for this game going forward. So that was really impressive by the Packers. But moving on to our final takeaway, I got to go with Clay Matthews here. Breaks the Packers record for career sacks with his 75th career sack, which is pretty impressive to consider that Reggie White, a Hall of Fame pass rusher, played for so many years with the Packers there.
Yeah, first off, congrats to Clay Matthews. That's my boy. That was an awesome way to get the record, strip sack on Glennon to set up the touchdown. And I got to say, Clay Matthews, he's really impressed me so far this season. He looks a lot more explosive, and he's been injured a lot the last few years, but he's got 2.5 sacks through 4 games, which is not too bad. And, if we can get that Clay Matthews who can get like double-digit sacks for this Packers defense, those strip sacks, causing those turnovers, and it's really being a playmaker. That's going to go a long part to helping that Packers defense improve. So watching him through the first 4 games, he's been a big boost to this Packers defense. And once they get back Mike Daniels and Nick Perry, he gets that club taken off. I mean, they can have a really good trio pass rushers with those guys.
Yeah, I got to say, just harping on Mike Glennon one more time. I hate to, really kick a man while he's down here, but Mike Glennon, I'm sure Clay Matthews is thanking him a lot for holding onto the ball for so long on that first play there to get that strip sack. Good play by Clay Matthews, though. Like you said, if he can get rolling, for this season, really come back to being that, prime Clay Matthews we saw early on in his career a few years ago where he was a double-digit sack guy consistently, that'd be a huge boost for a Packers defense that, they're still trying to figure out things in the secondary because I don't think we got a clear view of how their secondary will be because the Bears' weapons on offense are so weak in terms of the wide receiving core. So if they can continue to improve that pass rush, that'll go a long ways for this defense. And especially with Aaron Rodgers at your quarterback, teams are going to be playing from behind a lot of times and passing the ball a lot. So having a good pass rushing unit there will really go a long way for their season.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's our thoughts on this Thursday night matchup between the Bears and the Packers, the good old NFC North rivalry. The Packers ended up taking the series lead for the first time since 1932. That's great for Packer fans. I want you guys to comment down below what you think about this game, what you saw, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us. And, I just want to say thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I can't wait for these two teams to meet up later on in the year with Trubisky finally being the starting quarterback in this one at home. We'll see if he can make a difference and keep it, the season total series, lead to an even, matchup again because it doesn't look right with those Packers, leading the total series in this one. I don't like that one bit. But thanks, guys, for watching.